Kenya has for the last decade managed to finance 95% of its budget using domestic resources. So far, the government has been able to raise up to 82 billion shillings from the local market to fund various infrastructure projects including roads, energy, telecommunications and rail, among others. However, with the weakening of the shilling and the rising cost of living, the government is slowly turning back to international lenders such as the International Monetary Fund (IMF) for funding. President Kibaki and the Capital Markets Authority are now vouching for the use of domestic sources of funding for infrastructure projects to bridge the growing financing gap.
We continue, in particular, to face a huge financing gap, largely because we are unable to mobilize sufficient domestic resources to finance the required investments. To bridge this gap, we must also focus on the potential in our domestic sources of finance.
The call for mobilization of domestic financing comes barely a week after the central bank raised its benchmark lending rate to 16.5% as a precondition to 25 billion shilling assistance from the IMF. In addition, Treasury intends to table an IMF-approved value-added tax bill, which targets higher tax revenues through the removal of tax exemptions on various commodities. This will see manufacturers and service providers previously exempted from tax or paying preferential tax of 12% instead of 16% adjust their prices to absorb new tax costs. President Kibaki was speaking during the opening of the inaugural African Conference of Accountants. Wanjiru Gaitho, Citizen Business.